Little Simz just dropped one of the best rap albums of the year on June 6th, a couple days ago with Lotus. I think the album that we were all looking forward to was the Carter 6. We know how that turned out. But Lotus also dropped on the same day, and this is a very good standout album for the year, to say the least. Another great addition to Little Simz' discography, who is starting to grow a really strong discography over time. First off, we all know Simbi, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert, which is a phenomenal rap album. One of, if not arguably the best rap album of the 2020s. I think it's the Forever Story though. Then she went and dropped No Thank You right afterwards. She has the Gray Area as well, and now adding on Lotus. She is building up a stacked discography, really. But it's another deeply personal album for Little Simz, where she explores her journey of pain and self-reflection, emotional struggles, and she finds healing, inner peace, and growth. The whole concept of this album being a lotus flower, a representation of the lotus flower growing. So let's take a dive into the track list of Lotus by Little Simz, starting off with the intro track Thief, which lays out the emotional arc of this album. Simz immediately delivers a deep story of a former collaborator who took advantage of her, and this song does its job for an intro track. It sets the atmosphere of this album, getting that emotion out of her in the production, the overall vibe. We know what's coming after this. I don't think it's necessarily one of the best on the album. I don't know if it'd even be in my top 5 of songs on the album, but it's a very solid intro track, and like I said, it sets the theme, it sets the vibe, it does its job. It's a solid song. Really, it's more than just a solid song. It's actually a great track. But then we go into the second track called Flood. This is a bold track where Little Simz stands strong after being doubted and betrayed throughout her career. And this is where we see Simz continue that journey of going through her emotional thoughts and that pain that she's been going through as her journey as an artist. And this is where we continue that journey of seeing Little Simz' mind, really all the emotions she's going through, and really just all the battles she deals with during her career as an artist. And it's very deep. I love how Little Simz lets out all her pain and kind of shows like that mindset that she won't be broken, but I'm just not a fan of like the delivery or chorus of this song. I think it is one of the weakest. Not a bad song by any means. It's okay. I give it like an okay rating. Much better ones, much better standout tracks on this album. But then we go into Young, which is easily the worst on the album. It has the less depth and value throughout the experience of this album. It's like a little reflection of Sim's journey through her career and everything. I mean, it's just a goofy, cartoonish song. And it's not that I don't hate songs where like Little Simz is just having fun on this track. She's just given a nice reflective little track. It's not that I hate tracks that aren't super depressing or emotional, but this song just doesn't give me any value. It's super goofy and just really unenjoyable. It's the worst on the album. I'm not a fan of it. But after being at the lowest of the album, we're going very high to the next track, Only, which is an amazing song. Little Simz delivers lyrics of her self-confidence and her self-worth. It has beautiful vocals in the chorus, beautiful production, and at this point of the album, it is the best. You just kind of get everything out of this song. You get that emotional depth, you get that production, you get the vocals. Like, this is where it really caught my attention on the vocals. It really drew my attention and made this a playlist song for me. But it is a great song, a standout on the album. And then we go into another standout, Free, which is on par with Only. It's an amazing uplifting track where Little Simz kind of breaks free from the limitations and struggles and kind of embraces her own independence and positive mindset through life. It's another just beautiful overall song, and it just gives you everything on the plate. You have an amazing message. It's really uplifting, like I said. It's crafted with another great chorus and production, and that's what you kind of get out of Little Simz music. Not only is she going to deliver a lot of positive messages and a lot of depth lyrically and emotionally, her production is one of a kind. You can't find anyone else who has production that sounds like hers. She just has her distinct sound. If you heard the production, you know it's her, you know, with the soulful beats and the cinematic textures to her production. It complements her introspective lyricism so well, and it's one of a kind, like I said. And then we go into Peace, another great song. It's a more mellow and emotional sounding song. She delivers lyrics about healing and sort of finding a calm spot after dealing with a lot of emotional turmoil and chaos. It really is the most laid back on this album. Really reminds me of like an R&B song, and it's another great song. It reminds me of the intro. It's not like a top 5 on the album, but it's a great song. It's a great piece of this album and the story throughout this album. I guess not really like specific story, but the whole concept of the album. But then we go to Hollow, which is another really deep song. We had songs where she was diving into her head and her emotions, what she was going through, but this song kind of builds on that and dives even deeper into her feelings and her mindset. She expresses her feelings of emptiness and isolation despite all of the success that's shown on the outside and on social media of what, you know, of that nature. Another song that just brings everything to the plate. You have another really deep message, a great delivery and execution of this song, and again, the production is amazing. It's a great song. It's a revisitable song. I love it. And then we move into Lion, which is probably my favorite song concept on this album. It's not one of the best, but the overall concept of using the lion to be a metaphor for Little Simz and her mindset, like how she faces adversity in her life with resilience and standing strong. I just love that whole concept and idea, using that to show Little Simz strength. But yeah, it does show Simz strength to face challenges in her life head on, and it's just a very positive song, an uplifting song, motivational even. Maybe not a huge standout to me. There's just better songs in my opinion, but it's a good song. It's a nice addition to this album. And then we move on to Enough, which is in the same boat as Lion. It's a great song, but it's not like top 5 on the album or anything crazy. It's just a nice addition to it. I don't know how often I'd really revisit it. Simz delivers a message of recognizing your own self-worth, and it seems like she's kind of reflecting on like a past relationship in this song. It seems like she sort of talks about like that person, whether it was, you know, a relationship or whatever it was, not being important to her in her life and goals anymore. But it's a catchy chorus, fun production. I just don't think it's a big standout on the album. And then looking at the last 4 songs of this track list, they're all very deep. It's kind of like the center core of this album where it all just kind of comes together really deep. It hits hard. But we go on to the track Blood, which, like I said, it carries a lot of depth emotionally. One of the deepest songs on this album. It includes her cousin on it as a feature. They both exchange verses about a near-death experience that her cousin faced, and it explores the complexity of family bonds, you know, with pain and loyalty. It's an amazing, beautiful concept, and the delivery by both of them is amazing. This was a great execution of a song, just overall a beautiful song, and, you know, arguably one of the best, and like I said, deepest on the album. But then we go into the title track, and we have the emotional core of this album. This is the best on the album. This is one of the best rap songs of the year, arguably the best. It reminds me of the intro track Introvert from Sometimes I Might Be Introvert. It just kind of hits every topic that was, you know, being explored throughout this album, which in Simbi's case, it kind of set the tone. But anyway, the overall concept of it, it's like the center core of the album. They both just kind of relate to me. They kind of seem the same, at least the same concept. But I think Lotus hits even harder than Introvert, matter of fact. This might be one of, actually no, this is one of Little Simz' best songs. Like I said, the whole concept and idea of this album being called Lotus is a metaphor to a lotus flower, and it's to represent Simz' growth through pain. And this is kind of what this entire song builds around. It shows Simz' ability to rise above darkness and find peace and self-love. It's the most emotional and deepest delivery by Simz on this entire album, and like I said, it's one of the best songs of the year. This was phenomenal, and I do have this as a 10 out of 10 song. And then we go into the last 2 tracks of this album, which are 2 great additions. They're both deeply emotional. Moving on to Lonely, Simz expresses her feelings of isolation, vulnerability, and the pain of not being understood, even if she has a lot of people around her. Being at the end of this album, it adds a great emotional touch, and you know, at the end of this track list, it's just like this album goes deeper and deeper and deeper into Simz' thoughts and emotions and pain. But it's a beautiful addition and a great touching song. So we move into the outro track with Sampha, which is an amazing feature and perfect addition to this album. The song Blue, really one of the most emotionally rich tracks on this album. Even among so many other deeply personal albums, this is pretty deep. But Simz reflects on mental pressure and emotional exhaustion, sort of like a summary of the album's emotional weight, you know, being an outro track. It kind of just hits on all those themes again. And Sampha's feature is such a perfect compliment, like I said, because he brings the soothe message of it'll get better. Just that mindset, like, you know, keep pushing forward, it's gonna get better. And I think that's just such a perfect outro, because it's a really deep song, but Sampha keeps that positive message. But that is diving into the entire album, the entire concept, and the track list. This album is cohesive. It flows amazing. When you talk about the production style, the whole vibe of the album, the emotion and the deliveries and lyrics by Simz, very cohesive piece of work, and that's a really big thing for me in albums. And Little Simz' songwriting has always been amazing to me. For sure, it's not on like a Simbi level, but you know, some songs are pretty damn close. Like I said, look at Lotus. That's one of the best written songs she has. The album is structured together very well. It paces amazing. There's not any parts that really feel rushed or boring to me. It kind of feels very perfectly put together. Albums like Billy Wood's album or Balloonerism, especially because it came out in January, they've had a lot more time to develop with me and kind of let me digest it more. So as time goes on, I think if this grows on me more, it could very easily be my favorite and best rap album from the year. This was a beautiful album. I don't think I have it above Balloonerism quite yet, but Balloonerism had its lows. That song where he was playing that That Alter Ego. Well, let me pull up the track list of Balloonerism here real quick. Transformations. He was playing the Delusional Thomas Alter Ego. That's a skip. That's a miss. I mean, Lotus did not have misses like that. Not one. Well, actually, it did have Young. Young was bad. I forgot. But okay, they both have their one clear miss. They're both amazing albums. I think Billy Wood's album is still on a different level for me. It's gonna be hard to top that, and just the way that that album touched with me, it's gonna be hard to top that. I think that's my album of the year still. But Little Simz just dropped a top 3 album of the year. This is beautiful. This is amazing, and like I said, it grows on me. If it grows on me any more, like any tad bit, it's gonna top Balloonerism, maybe top Billy Woods. But if you haven't checked this album out, highly suggest it. It didn't hit as much with me on the first listen, but you know, diving into the meanings of the songs, the concepts of the songs, and really the lyrics and everything, it started to grow on me more and more. And that's when the album hit, and I'm like, damn, Little Simz just does not stop cooking in the studio. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Lotus by Little Simz. I have this as an 8 out of 10, just a good 8 out of 10 album right now. I think it could go up to an 8.5 if it grows on me a bit, but you know, Young holds it back. That was a big skip and just an out of place song. I don't think that should have been here. Flood, it has its place in the album, just wasn't a big fan of it, but it's an 8 out of 10 for me right now. Great album, one of the best of the year, and I'm glad to be able to have replenished my ears with this amazing album with the same day the Carter 6 getting released. But let me know y'all's thoughts about this album. What is your favorite rap album of the year? Those are my final thoughts. I'll see y'all in my next video.